Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond the Pitch. I'm Raymond, and here we break down the game with love, with passion, and analysis. Let's get started. As we all know, I always talk about Miami in these playoffs. How did they do last week? I believe they did last week, yes. How did they do? Well, Miami went to Nashville, and just like I predicted, that if Nashville wants to tie this game and go to game 3, they need to score in the first half. And they did exactly that. Nashville actually scored in the first half, and I gotta give it to Suárez. Him scoring, stepping up and scoring that PK in the first half kind of boost his momentum and kind of boost his level of confidence going. As like I said, Suárez actually had 26 goals in the regular season. He was one of the players in the race with Messi in the regular season, but we all know Messi had, I believe, 20 something goals or 30 goals. So he was actually the Golden Boot winner. But during the first playoffs game, Suárez actually didn't play good. His level of confidence was he was down. He didn't play just like he was supposed to play. The fans, he wasn't there. I don't know if he was like, scared or tension. Sometimes it happens. Players do have that tension, in the playoffs, you're playing away. All the pressure is on you because everyone is depending on you. So he didn't actually play good. Mukhtar didn't step up. They just didn't play right in the first game, so they got scored. They lost 3-1. In that game, Messi scored 2 goals, and I did say if they want to win, they have to make sure they scored in the first half, because Miami always kind of, have that kind of momentum that they don't. It's hard for them to come back. When they get scored in the first half, it's always hard for them to come back to win the game. They have like a 20% chance of tying the game, but 10% chance of coming back actually to win the game. So that's something that Miami needs to work on, I always say they need to work on that. To move on, there's a game tonight. It's the game 3, and Miami, they have to win this game. Miami have to win this game. If not, it's just going to be like deja vu. We all know they played Atlanta United. I believe it was in 2024. That also was in game 3, I believe, and they lost. They lost with Atlanta United. So tonight might be like a deja vu, if they don't really come out wanting to win the game. They have to come out wanting to win the game, because they're playing home. And playing home, it's just a different kind of vibe. You have the fans behind you. It's your home court. You know how you play. You know how you move, and that's your home court. It always changes the momentum. It always changes how you play, the feeling. Because you know the field. So they have to come out willing to win the game. They have to come out in the first half, scoring, putting away the chances, because, Miami kind of have that moment that if they score in the first half, Miami have them, if they take the lead, they always win the game. If they score first, they always have that energy of, scoring more, or habit of scoring more. So they need to find a way to score before Nashville do. And we all know that Messi, he's going to do what Messi does. He's always going to do what he does the best. So, he has 9 goals against Nashville, actually 9 goals, so we all know he's going to come out to do what he does best. He's going to score, he's going to score at least 1+ goals, 1+ assist in tonight's game. That's my prediction. That's what I'm saying. He's going to score, because he wants to go to the next round. He actually wants to win the MLS Cup. Because last year they didn't actually do good and he wasn't happy. So he's actually going to come out to play. His ratings, like I said, is 8.52, which is good. So the lineup, I believe they are going to play their 4-4-3. I believe Miami is going to play their 4-4-3. I believe they are going to play their 4-4-3, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, they are going to play their 4-4-2. With Allende and Messi, being forward. Allende actually playing the number 9 and Messi actually playing, the number 10 position. I don't know. I don't think Suárez is going to play tonight, per my source. It looks like he is suspended. I don't know why, but if he's going to play, if something changed, then he might play. But as of right now, he is suspended. So Allende is going to be playing the number 9 position. Messi is going to be playing the number 10. And we have Segovia. He's really good. I'm glad that he's starting the game this time. He has 7.5 ratings. Rodrigo De Paul is also going to play in the middle with Sergio Busquets. Sergio Busquets is a great player. We all know that. He's really smart, experienced. He's calm in the middle. He knows what he's doing. So he's also gonna be playing in the middle with Rodrigo De Paul, and we're gonna have Rodriguez on the left wings. Just like I said, Rodriguez is really good. He's really, showing up and stepping up. His ratings is like 6.8. If they want to win this game, I believe he needs to come out to play hard as well. Show up to tonight's game. He really needs to show up in tonight's game. And on the back side, the last 4, we have Jordi Alba. He plays on the left defensive, outside defensive, and we also have Frey on the right defensive. And in the defensive mid, we are going to have the linebacker. We have Allen, and we have Falcon. These 4 lines need to work together. Actually, they need to make sure they're working together on the line, because what normally happens is that Miami always kind of get lost during the game. They always leave a space, during the line. They always leave a line, the space, and then the opponent always find a space behind them. So the opponent always try to give a true pass, and they always go behind them to score. So that's something that Miami needs to work on. They need to work together. Defensive players need to communicate together, watch their lines, so they can stop that running. They can stop that true passes. So that's what I can talk about the lineup from Miami. The goalkeeper, he's great. Rios is great, but he really messed up last week. Coming out when he's not supposed to come out. And he did cost a penalty, and Suárez scored. So he really need to be smart this time and don't make any mistake like he did last time. So that's the lineup for Miami. They are going to play a 4-4-2. For Nashville is going to play 3-4-3. They are going to have Suárez as number 9. They have Mukhtar as number 10, the number 10 position, and they have Muyo at also the right, as also like forward, but he's going to be playing on the right side, alongside Suárez. The players to watch out for, like I said, in Nashville, they have Suárez, Mukhtar, Najar, and they also have Palacio and Zimmerman. Those are players that to watch out for. But I also say Tag set is also a great player to watch out for. He's young. He has that energy, so if they don't want to win, they also have to. He also has to step up. So I believe that's the lineup for Nashville 3-4-3, and Miami is playing 4-4-2. If Nashville wants to move on, they need to do what they did last week. They need to score in the first half, and they need to make sure Miami doesn't get a lot of crossing in, because Miami seems that they score most of their goals with the ball coming either on the left side or on the right side. From the left side is Jordi Alba, as we all know. On the right side, sometimes we go with Frey. He's defensive, but he plays just like Jordi Alba. He goes forward with the ball and make those crossing comes in. So if they really need to stop Miami from scoring, they need to watch out for Jordi Alba, because Jordi Alba and Messi, the way the connection is just so strong that it doesn't matter where Messi is, it doesn't matter where Jordi Alba, they always make sure they come, they find each other. That connection is strong, so that's what they need to stop if they want to move on to the next round, or to the semifinals. So what's gonna happen in tonight's game? Who do I think is gonna move on? I'm a Miami fan, so I'm a Messi fan, as you can all see. I'm not biased. I always give what I think about the game, just like last week or a couple of my videos, my predictions. I always say what the opponent needs to do if they want to beat Miami, and so far my predictions are on point. So I'm not being biased. So who do I think is going to move on to the semi-conference finals? Miami is going to move on to the semi-conference finals. They are going to move on to the semi-conference finals. But they need to make sure they are the one to score the goal before their opponent. Because if they score, they have that kind of moment that they want to keep scoring. As soon as they score, it's like the goals keep flowing. So they need to score before Nashville scores if they want to win the game. And they need to make sure they bring in the crossing as well so they can move on. My prediction to today's game, Miami is going to win. And what the score is going to be? Miami 3, Nashville 2. It might be, between those 3-2 or either 3-1 or 4-2, going for Miami. But if Nashville do score in the first half, it's going to be really tough for Miami to come back. They might try to come back, tie the game and go to PKs, in which Miami is going to win. But I think Miami is going to move on to the semi-conference. The fans are going to be behind them. It's going to be a good atmosphere, and they are going to move on to the semi-conference finals. So that's my prediction for tonight's game. And after the game, I'll come on here, talk about the game this time, put on some highlights, what I think, who did best and who didn't show up, which players showed up actually and who didn't. I'll make sure I put a highlight on, talk about the ratings, the statistics, and, what they can do. But once again, thank you for watching BTP. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.